Okay, so welcome to our third video in the series. So today we will cover chapter 4 and chapter 5 of the book titled Fountainhead. So in the last chapter we have seen that both Howard and Peter have taken their path towards their journey, towards their goal. So Howard is with Henry Carmen and Peter is with Ji Shangfung. Ji, whatever. So he is with G, right? So I missed one detail yesterday. So uh, as Peter starts working with Ji Fengchun and he is becoming very favorite poster boy of his office and also a favorite uh, employee of Ji Fengchun. What happens is he has gained his trust and he starts to take advantage of it. So one fine day, there is this colleague of Peter called Tim Davis. So Tim Davis is about to get married and he wanted to go on a date with his spouse. And then he was overworked and he was doing overtime for the third time in that particular week. So Peter has extended his help because he is his colleague and they are like uh, good friends. So Peter says that, hey, I will work on it and I will keep the designs ready. So you go have a good time with your spouse. I'll keep it ready for you. So Tim David says, hey, uh, but this won't be ethical because if we get caught, I'll lose my job and all, and this is not a good thing. But then Peter insisted that, hey, I'll cover up for you. You don't need to worry, right? So that way, Peter does all his work, and Tim Davis has a good time, and then they got more close and become good friends. But Peter has other plans in mind. So, cut to next thing. Uh, I'll share that later, like what he has in his mind. But later that night, after finishing Tim Davis' work, Peter is roaming around the city of New York, and he feels like he is very alone, and there is nobody to share his achievement that he has started working finally, and he is not just a poster boy, right? He is done some actual good work. So he wanted to share that, but he felt very lonely that nobody is there to share all these things with. And then Peter remembers uh, one friend of his from his college. So her name is, I forgot her name. Let's call it Pretty. Yeah. So because ironically she is not pretty. So Peter, as we know, he's a topper from his college and he was very famous. So naturally he attracted many female friends, and he was in relationship, casual hookups and all. So he used to do that with a lot of girls, but this particular girl, Pretty, so with her he hasn't really did he haven't really did like not more than few cases he has exchanged with her, right? And with her he always feels like she is a safe place for Peter. So he always cared for her, and she also loves him a lot. So he even though Peter is like this guy who likes to go roam around with other girls and do stuff with them, but this pretty girl is always fond of Peter and she loves him truly, and she likes to be with him. And even though he is taking her for granted or not giving her the importance, it doesn't matter to her. So she is writing letters to him, and even though Peter does not respond or respond like 2 3 months later, even then she never feels like Peter is not worth her time. So she is truly devoted to Peter, we could say that. So Peter thought of her that, hey, I could meet her and share all these things with her. So Peter goes to her house. She started living in New York. Both of them after college they have shifted to New York. Peter for her work, and then this pretty girl. So after her father died, she started living with her uncle. And then there is a dialogue between Peter and Pretty that uh, Pretty explained him that she lives with her uncle and he is very generous and he takes care of her. He is very funny and he do not want that uh, Pretty to think that she is a burden on him. So, and he is very good at what he does. Uh, he has knowledge of a lot of field, including architecture. And during this conversation, Peter knows that her uncle is no one but Frank Louis, which is the writer where Ji Fong Shun has shown the article about. So this was a very famous critic. So Peter tells Pretty that, hey, don't you know who your uncle is? He's a very great critic, and people uh, people die to get praise from him in his articles like that. So he's a great critic and all that. And then Pretty, being in love with Peter, asks that if you want to meet her. But then Peter says, if I don't want to use you to get to meet him and then create a connection with him. I want to work my way up and then meet him on my own. I don't want you. And also Peter says that I'm going to do some evil things, some distasteful things, to reach my way out to the top. And I don't want to involve you in my activity because these activities won't be good and won't be ethical. And I don't want you to look at me uh, with disrespectful eyes and all those things. So I want to keep you away from it and uh, don't I don't need you to be the medium from which I can meet Louis. So that's how he is, and that's where we know that Peter is going to do some nasty things, and he is aiming for those things, right? So now in this chapter 4 and 5, the author has uh, taken a leap that 2 to 3 years the she has skipped rapidly. And so in these 2 3 years, what Peter does is first he keeps on uh, keeps on doing the work of Tim Davis, and Tim Davis got used to it that Peter is working for him and nobody at the office knows. And then Peter thinks that, uh, sorry, Tim Davis thinks that Peter is my great colleague, he helps me and all. But to Jing Fengshun, as he's a favorite guy of Ji Fengshun, uh, uh, Peter, Tim Davis tells him that, hey, speak some good words about me to Ji Fengshun, so that even if I come late to the office, he will not notice it, or you know, uh, he will not have any problem with it. But what Peter does is he tells him exactly opposite, that he does not do any work and he is not focused lately because of his marriage and all. And then Ji Fengshun sees that Tim Davis is the highest paid employee of his, because he is the uh, senior designer. And then because Peter is doing all his work, Ji Fengshun fires him. And then uh, Peter again goes to Tim Davis and tells him that, hey, this Ji Fengshun is not a good guy and he should not have fired you. And then as Peter is very favorite among his office and also in the architecture circle, he's becoming quite famous and favorite of everybody because the way he speaks, and he has this social skill wherein very quickly people like him and all. So using his connection, Peter helped Tim Davis get his job. And then again Peter mm, Peter Peter feels proud that, hey, because I am giving or I am helping Tim to get the job. So he this so the author shows that this cruelty is developing within Peter, right? And then again with some again there is a chief drafter in Ji Fengshung's office called as Stantler or something like that. So Stantler usually does all the designs for Ji Fengshung. Ji Fengshung just reviews them and then sign it and sells those designs on his behalf, on his firm's behalf. So actually, Stantler is the main chief architect, right? So what Peter does is he tells him that, hey, you have this great potential. You should, venture outside and start your own firm. Okay, and then Stantler also thinks that I should make a partner. There is some wealthy friend of his, so he decided to partner with him and start his venture. But he don't know if he get any client because in New York. There are hardly any people who would go for any newbie for designs and all. So what Peter does is Ji Fengshung, as he's trusted guy of Ji Fengshung, Ji Fengshung asks him to visit a client and show his firm's design and get the deal. But what Peter does is Peter tells him that Ji Fengshung is no good. No, the designs that are made are really made by Stantler and Ji Fengshung, because just because of the trademark, Ji Fengshung charges you like 3 times. And Stantler is a uh, great architect, and he is starting his own firm. And I think you should go there. He is the best architect, and uh, also he will do it at a less expensive or or at a cheap rate, right? And as Peter is very good in communication, he convinces the client to go and hire Stantler as his client, and he goes to Stantler and asks him that, hey, I have given you the client, so you can go resign and start your own firm. Then Stantler realizes what Peter is doing here, but then he laughs it off and he knows that there is a win-win situation for him as well. So he resigns and takes that particular client and started working on it with his uh, rich friend as a partner. And then Peter goes to uh, Ji Xingfeng and tells him that Stantler had resigned and he has stolen our client. So Peter is the one who is doing all this mischief, and like he is designing like all these things and then later blaming it on others, so that Peter would have a good image uh, across all the people, and he will get all the benefits. So very quickly, because Sandler has resigned, Peter is given the chief architect's position. So he is doing all these dirty things to climb up the ladder. And after becoming the chief architect, what Ji Fengshung asked him to design a building with like some home and all. Okay, so he designs it, and then he's not sure if it's a good one or bad one. So he is very confused. Like if someone tells him it's the best house in the whole world or it's the worst house in the whole world, he is ready to believe either of those things, right? So he is very confused, and that time he remembers of uh, Howard Dot. Like he wants Howard to review it and then tell him like what he thinks about those designs. So let's move to Howard. Like what in these 3 years, what Howard has done in uh, Henry Carmen's office. So in Henry Carmen's office, so it's a very basic office, and he's not getting any clients and all. So like few months have gone by, and Howard is working very sincerely and with all the integrity, giving his all hours, sincerely working. So Henry Carman just visit the drafting room, see what he's doing, and then just say nothing or just point some mistakes and goes in escaping. So this thing, he is not talking anything, he is not appreciating and nothing else. So this cycle goes on for like a year, and then after some time, Henry asks Howard to work on some designs and then get it reviewed. So after uh, Howard finishes off his work, he submits those for Henry's approval or his review. Af- Upon viewing the designs, Henry calls Howard in his office and tells him that, hey, you are fired. Then Peter, as calm as he can be, like always, he is like very cold and very steady eyes. So he asks him like, am I fired? So he says, yeah, because you are too good for this place. And he tells him that like he can see himself in Howard, like how he used to love buildings and designing things, and because people hate those people who are in love with their work. So, and a very bad future awaits for such people. So, what Henry is telling Howard that stop doing this, stop following your passion like a madman, and you should work. You should do what others are doing. You should work for money. Otherwise, you will end up like this in a small room and all. So you should and this is the time you should go and explore other possibilities. You should work for Ji Fengshun as well. He can give a recommendation because in past Ji Fengshun was the assistant of Henry when Henry was at the top of his career. So he says you should go there, explore, because this is the time you should go, because if you stay for more time, I won't be able to let you go and all. And then Peter says, I don't get you if I'm good. Sorry, Howard says, if I'm good, then why you are saying this and all. So I understand what you're saying, but this is what I love, and I won't mind doing this even if I don't get money and all. Uh, so uh, Henry gets agitated and angry, and he says, so how cruel are you? You want me to say those things? So hear it. Do you want to end up like me, poor, not respected, not valued? I'm a drunkard, I'm alcoholic, so you want to end up like me here in this office? So then Howard pauses for a second, looks at him, and then he says that if I end up here in my old age in this office, I shall feel privileged and honored, which I could not have deserved. So uh, Henry is quite disturbed, like, how can I, convince you, boy? This is not the good future and all. But Howard is persistent that he knows what he is doing, uh, and uh, many issues or struggles are there ahead, how many obstacles are there. And because he has love for his buildings, his designs, just like Henry, Howard is ready to go on that path of fire. So after that, they continue to work, and for 2 more years. Okay, so now again, Peter visits Howard for the review, and then Howard looks at those, and Peter tells him that I have doing some things. Uh, I have created scenarios wherein people leave or people got fired and I got to be the chief engineer. But even then, I am not very satisfied, because in front of Howard, Peter feels naked, because Howard has no sense of people. He does not bother like what anybody is thinking, and his words are straight as arrows. So Peter feels naked, and then he tells him that how he has betrayed people and all those. So he thought he would feel proud saying this, but really he felt naked and all. So Howard looks at him and he tells him that he is not here to preach Peter, and then he makes all the design changes and give it back to him, like in few minutes only, which Peter has designed for 3 days. So after working on the suggestions given by Howard, Peter goes to Ji Fengshun and gives him, and then Ji Fengshun praises him that hey, and at last he says, "This is what I had in my mind." So Ji Fengshun is also this guy, like he feeds from others' work, and Peter also know that. So and Ji Fengshun also knows that Peter knows. So they mutually exchange a smile, knowing that both of them are not capable. They just feed off others' work. Okay, and uh, then again cut to Howard and Henry. So they are working on a, a bank's project to design a bank, and they created a very good design, but they did not get the contract because it was given to some other firm because they had some inside connections in the bank, and that's why uh, they get a letter. Uh, so Henry gets a letter that the contract has been given to that other firm, and we won't be able to proceed ahead with you. So Henry and Howard has worked day and night for this, and now Henry has left with no options. He is very frustrated. He gets strung, and he don't know how to pay the rent of his office. He do not know how to pay the electricity, and he is very frustrated. And he uh, comes to Harvard with a newspaper. So that newspaper is full of foolish things, foolish advertisements, and also he tells Howard that hey, look, this is the best New York newspaper, most sellable newspaper, and it is filled with these foolish things. But again, it is, even though it is foolish, it is highly popular. So that's what people want. They don't want quality, or what we do uh, people will never accept, and this is deemed to happen with people like us. So he is very, morally down, and he is very sad. um, and he tells him that you should go. I am just a drunkard man, and I have lost everything. You still have time, don't end up like me and all. But Howard has uh, have this tenacious belief that his love for his work, his passion will work out. So uh, Henry says, I don't know what will happen, but I will go. You have to face all these issues. You have to answer the landlord and the electricity department and everything, and you have to face all these things, and you are the only hope now. And uh, looks at Howard, and Howard just exchanges this confident look, and shine in his eyes. And now Howard has all the responsibilities now to keep the legacy of Henry ahead. So this is how the chapter 5 ends. So let's meet again tomorrow. Bye bye.